I was that kid who would never amount to anything. Here's where I am now. I came from a really SHT home. I had 5 siblings, and no dad in the picture. We were all crammed into a dilapidated trailer home which my mom could still barely afford. Rice and ketchup was a staple meal in our home. McDonald's was reserved only for birthdays. I had to start working from the age of 10. Obviously, school was never my priority. I was just focused on surviving. I went through years of enduring abuse from my teachers and peers. Teachers never believed in me, and just assumed I would be a failure. My peers were malicious, always ensuring to mock me about my SHT clothes and inbred family. One teacher in particular really captured my schooling experience. This teacher, who we'll call Mr. H, pulled me aside after class. He said I was performing horribly, saying I was the stupidest student he had ever seen. He told me I was the reason he was retiring so early. He concluded this whole rant by saying, "Honestly, you'd be better off selling drugs than going to school." And that, I did. I sold drugs. Lots of them. Eventually, I earned a regional reputation, and was very respected in the drug trade. Of course this caught up to me, and I was sentenced to 6 years in the Fed. In the Fed, I started to believe what Mr. H and all those other teachers had said to me. I started to believe that my life was a failure. Life in prison went on as SHT as usual, but honestly, it was nice to have a stable diet and roof over my head. I began to read, voraciously. I even got prescribed dyslexia medication in prison, which enabled me to read faster than I could ever imagine. I got really into theology. During my last year in federal prison, I spoke to the prison preacher. We would spend hours after each church service analyzing scriptures. I found I had a true passion for Christianity. This man, who literally saved my life, recognized my potential as a preacher. He told me that he had a job waiting for me at the church he worked at. When I got out, I took that job. 5 years later, I am a preacher at this church. It was difficult at first, earning the respect of God-fearing churchgoers as I am covered head to toe in tattoos. Eventually, however, this church accepted me. I finally found something that I excelled in and people who supported me. As fate would have it, Mr. H recently joined this church, and profusely apologized to me for what he said. I forgave him because I no longer harbor hatred. I am truly happy.